Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream. It's been a minute since we had the last one. Uh, with vacation, visiting some family and all that, I didn't get around to do any streams from there. Also, didn't have like the best internet connection. So, but hopefully, um, some of the updates that I'm gonna try and show, hopefully will make up for some of that. Just a little bit of progress on a few things. So again, I'm just in my test level here. Nothing too exciting from a visual standpoint, but I just wanted to share this uh, quick, let's say, um, location in the world, along with some of the things that you'll be needing to do around it. And yeah, you'll notice this little boat. This is actually from a creator on Sketchfab. Uh, it was a great shape. The topology of it is very messy, unfortunately, and I've had to clean up a bunch of it. And also, there's no textures, so I had to retexture this. So we'll take a look at it. Um, Kind of navigating it with character as well, and just tell you a little bit about some of the one of the missions that you're gonna have to do around this, kind of what's focused around this little, I would say kind of abandoned, slightly abandoned, decrepit type of boat. So. Yeah, let's take a look at this is one of it. The other one is going to be, the under the water environment. As you can see, like this is kind of how the transition looks from up top to down below, and we'll see a little bit of the kind of the elements. There's like some fishes going around, just trying to make this as realistic as possible. The other thing that I did, and I'm not sure why that is not working at the moment. 1 second. While I'm trying to figure out if hopefully I didn't delete that, but it's around having like some bubbles, like some just these kind of bubbles coming up in the water. And let me see, it was just a kind of a particle effect that was that I placed in the world like randomly using this scatter tool that I have. But let me see where that might be at. Uh, And we'll jump into like the main level as well to see it in action there. Like this is just a small little body of water, but I wanted to kind of show you a little bit of the swimming, the diving, the getting out of the water part, and uh, kind of. I'm not sure if I haven't tested interactions underwater, but I would expect it should work fine. And kind of getting on top of the getting on the boat, from the water. And yeah, but let me, like I said, I'm just trying to find out why. I hope I didn't delete it. Could have, maybe. So let me see. Well, I'm just gonna place a new one. Bear with me for a little bit. So let me remove this one. And this is just going to be a blueprint actor. And this is going to be bubbles, water bubbles. All right. So yeah, this is what I just wanted to add this in. So, gives a little bit of a more of an underwater type of feel with some of these. Maybe a little bit too many. So let's kind of half them. Half them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be one of the topics. The other one is going to be around interactions. So I've made it so for some of the items that you're going to interact with, it made it a little bit more dynamic. So for example, um, I've given each one of my interactable items um, interaction mode, so like, or type. So either multi-tap, like for example, when you have to crack open a box, like like a crate or something like that. then holding like hold down the button and timed interaction, and then a single tap. So basically, with some of these, with some of these objects that have a kind of a two-stage interaction, um, this is going to be kind of the initial interaction type. And with most of these, especially that you need to search through something, the second one is always going to be just a timed interaction. So I'll show you some of that as well. And the other one, the other update is going to be kind of around like the landing zone. So when I've shown you this in the past, so when you jump out of the airplane, you you land right into one of these what I wanted to call like a hero landing area because I try to put a little bit more detail into it. So you land here, and then you have to, get, kind of find your way out. Of course, it's just I wanted to call it like a funnel area. So there's only going to be one exit, trying to point you to where you need to go. Oh, hey, lighting, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. How are you doing? So the thing that I thought, this area could be good for because it's the start of the game, is to have some like and this is the exit at the moment. But what it would be good to have, it would be good to have some of these how to play the game type of things. Like if you've seen like usually at the start of the games, you approach a place where you can crouch. It says, hold down control to crouch or press space to jump or I don't know, like um, hold down control to like interact or hold down E to interact. So I've created one of those like a player instruction type of blueprint. So we'll look at that kind of what it does. So this is the crouch. So each one of these is going to have based on um, data table is going to have um, a set of instructions. So, crouch, jump, timed interaction, just to give the player some details of, yeah, we're all used to like game controls, but I still see that in every game, at least the ones that I play. So we'll look at how this works as well. And let me see, was there anything else for an update? Yeah, I think yeah, so crawl, there you go. That would be another one. The crawl actually is pretty dynamic, so there isn't you just kind of walk towards it. So I'm kind of trying to think of how I should instruct the players for it. So we'll see. But yeah, and the other update would be just a little bit of a change that I've played around with some of the cliffs meshes and like the surrounding the natural assets when it comes to these big rocks. So I did end up just using some of the cliffs from Quixel, this being one of them and this being the other one. Because I kind of, oh, you know what? I kind of like this one a little bit better. Just but I had to play around with some of the shaders and just kind of update some of my materials to account for the ability to add, like a moss cover in like some of the creases and some of the folds of the mesh. This is all based on the normal map. Okay, yeah, so let's jump in. I think my start is gonna be somewhere around this area here. Lighting, I don't know. Like, I mean, I hope I do, but I do have a lot of people that joined the stream, and they've for whatever reason, people change their name, or like their ID. So. Is this Breeze? Like I know that I've had you before, and you've had a different name, like Three Die at some point, but I'm not sure. So, uh, yeah. All right. Let's see. So Legends Never Die. Welcome. Hey, how you doing? So what did you use to do your landscape material? So what I used, well, I've actually made it from scratch. Um, there is a tutorial on my channel on how I did that. It's pretty straightforward. Oh, hey, Omiyaki, welcome, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. And that's I could not tell who you were, but thank you so much. Thank you for the reminder. Like I said, people change their IDs, and I don't always know. I mean, I can't. All right, so let's jump in, and we'll take a look at some of the interactions to start, and then kind of go into the water for a little bit, show you how the swimming works and how like the diving works, kind of jumping on the boat. A little bit of an effect that I did with the boat to fake like the floating type of thing. Um, oh yeah, Legend Never Die. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just search for like landscape on my channel, and you should be able to find. There's like it is done in Unreal Engine 4, but everything should apply besides, I think besides the tessellation, everything should apply to 5. Yeah. All right, so let's jump in. Let me just save real quick. All right, so first, what I wanted to show is the kind of the interaction, right? So right now, this one is a kind of a multi-tab interaction. So I gotta like kind of hold it down and press it. So if I release it, it disappears. You have to start over. So I'm not sure if you can hear through my mic, if you can hear like me pressing the button. All right, so now when you actually you go into the second interaction, or like the second that was like the uh, first layer. I'm not sure if I'm calling it right, but like the first interaction, and then the second one would be like a timed one. And let's see, I'm actually just hitting a breakpoint here. Yeah, so right now, what should happen, and unfortunately, oh yeah, actually, I forgot. I also set this up as a multi-tap, right? So but yeah, the second one should actually be a single or a timed interaction. So let me quickly correct that, because I think I still have the blueprint open, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I have like a couple of dozen tabs open, so bear with me for a little bit. Let me just change this to holding. While I was doing some testing, I kind of made that change. All right, so let's kind of try and crack this open. You can see on the left, like each item would need like a certain the number of tapping, right? Or like, so that's going to be a little bit different. So now it's kind of just a timed interaction, and then if there's something that to be spawned, then this item would spawn that, whatever you're searching for, be it quest related or just like scraps, like I've shown you in the past with the trash. Hey, Lighting, do you have, so I haven't published it yet. I'm still working towards a demo, which I'm hoping for this year. But yeah, things are definitely getting close. Let me minimize a bunch of these tabs, because again, it's just very taxing. Uh, And of course, it's for whatever reason, I played this earlier. I'm not sure this is due to um well, it's actually due to me running 2 instances of Unreal as well. That probably doesn't help. Um yeah, I was actually playing this earlier, so I'm not entirely sure why the frame rate is like at 20. Um but yeah, let's get into the water. So this is just your kind of regular swimming here. You can see there's like a little bit of an effect going on around it. Yeah, there you go. Like the frame rate has stabilized. So this is kind of just like you threading water, I think is what it's called. So this is just that. So let's dive. So when it comes to diving, you don't need to press a special key, to dive or to surface. You don't need to press a special key. Oh, actually, you can see the fishes around the water. So yeah, you just need to look down and then you're gonna dive. So basically like this. Um, so this is how the underwater looks like when you're like swimming underwater. And the other thing that happens is you running out of air. So I'm not sure if you were able to hear that. I think the audio is on, so I think you should have been able to, like hearing like you're choking underwater after a while. Yeah, it's a very short time, but I was trying to test it out. So yeah, that's this is kind of how, things work underwater and how things look. Um, I mean, as far as um, what I'm talking about is more of like the the material that is used for the underwater effect in that post-process volume. And so yeah, like that's kind of the water line, and you just swimming down. There's like a little bit of a, I forgot, I've added some like collision boxes. Whoops, I'm suffocating pretty quick. All right, so there we go. We're outside. And yeah, this is one thing that I was talking about um, with the boat. It doesn't have like it's not an actual buoyancy type of thing property. I know there's like you can set up buoyancies with like the um, water volume if you use the water volume, but this one is just kind of faking it. It's more of a it's just like a timeline, and it kind of sways the boat, the item back and forward, so uh, it's not real buoyancy if you think about it that way. So it's just faking it. And you can see like these things don't move with it because I haven't attached it to the item. But if you look at the things on the boat, like the little crates and all that, those move along. So let's try and get out of the water. Uh, it behaves just like the mantling does normally. So yeah, the other thing that I've created is I've made it so that and you can see like you sway with the boat at the same time. So the other thing that I've added is this capacity to shrink the player capsule when you enter like in smaller spaces, right? So that's the other thing. Yeah. So I've been working on it for more than 5 years, actually. But yeah, I haven't because as you probably know, I have a day job, and a place of my own that I live, and all that takes time. So again, it's just a part-time, sometimes semi-part-time project. So yeah, it takes a while, especially working on it by yourself. Yeah, so once you're on the boat, this is going to be kind of a location where you're going to need to be searching for some things. Yeah, this is kind of how you enter the boat. Again, this asset itself was not textured at all. I mean, or it had like some placeholder things, but it wasn't texture at all. It started as a great mesh itself. Like I said, just poor topology. I had to like fix a bunch of it and then texture it. But yeah, this is going to be kind of an area where you'll have to search for some items that you're going to need. And actually, I have not tried to like push that into the water, but here it goes. So let's try and dive and see where that thing ended up. Uh, oh, I don't. I was gonna say, I hope it didn't fall through the landscape. So yeah, there it is. All right, so let me surface real quick because I was losing air. Like I said, I hope you can hear the kind of the audio cue of you losing air, and also like the sides of the screen turning red. And yeah, that's the other thing that I didn't mention. I also got that fixed because you can see, like I have this minimal UI or almost no UI, and I needed to tell the player that their health is decreasing. Like for example, you might not have this open, right? Because like with this one, you can also see it. You should be able to see it. So if I like submerge, Um, let's see, when I lose air, so there you go, it starts dropping, right? So um, so once you surface, you get your air back. All right, so yeah, that's around this kind of the water environment. And yeah, that also took a little bit of time just to kind of get these shaders right. For the water itself, the depth of the water, the surface of the water, like how it looks once you dive, so all of that. Yeah, so let's take a look at the kind of the start of the game and what I was talking about earlier with this kind of, I wouldn't call it tutorial necessarily, but like the instructions at the start, right? So once you fall out of the plane, you get up and you're like, oh man, what's this area about? So you're gonna start like kind of going around to find an exit. And I'm not gonna do that, but let's just walk towards this end and show you how it looks once you get into like one of those instructional areas, right? So let's get close to that and take a look. I guess I already had to do some of it. But okay, so now this should be the crouch. So you can see like I have this thing popping up saying, like press and hold control to crouch. So you're crouching, and then in here it's gonna say, press space to jump, right? So you can uh, you can do that as well. And the thing with these is that they're only gonna be done once, and they're gonna be registered as, okay, you've already seen this tutorial, so you'd be able to reset them or reset these instructions if you so choose to, right? So then you just exit out of there and yeah, so see, I went through the same spaces where those instructions were at, and they did not fire again. Yeah, so see, it actually tells you on the left-hand side there if you look um, at the text, it's kind of tiny, but it says tutorial encountered before. So that's one of the things um, that I wanted to do with it. Okay. Yeah, so let's get into kind of the main level and play around in there a little bit. Maybe test out this timed interaction in the water and see how that works. And yeah, let's try that out. Bear with me for a little bit while this one loads. And I'm still in 5.5. There is one plugin that I use for it's like the MetaHuman plugin that Epic has. And for whatever reason, they haven't updated that to 5.5. So it's the one that generates the kind of the facial animations from audio. Oh, and one thing that I did end up getting my hands on is an old iPhone, but an iPhone that supports the Live Link. So I'm gonna test that out and see if it actually works. It seems like I was able to install the application, but I haven't tested out to see if I can link like my facial expressions with a MetaHuman. So I'm gonna hopefully try that out and give you guys an update soon. So yeah, also in the main level, I did get around to do a little bit of work around at least one of the areas, and I'll show you that. It's and also just trying to move some of those. You might have seen those garages that I've placed in the world, and I'll show you some of that as well. And yeah, let's take a look. I should be, because like right now I'm loading literally everything that I have there. So I should actually be setting a few of those, um, especially like the caves, the mine, and everything else. I should be setting those on to not be loaded when I load this level. Because what it's doing right now, it's the way I have these setups via the data layers, it literally loads everything. So yeah, all right. So I think it's almost done. Um, I'm not like I said, I'm not entirely sure why. Um, The frame rate dropped so much from just a little bit earlier today. And again, I haven't, I'm still on my, old 1070, so it's, I'm still living in the past a little bit when it comes to video cards. But okay, so this is, what we've seen earlier and kind of the underwater. You might have seen like the little screenshot from earlier. This is kind of how that looks. Let me hide the hints. I think that usually gives a little bit more of a, but yeah, just to show you one of the, uh, maybe one of the issues with performance is also this, like a ton of tabs open. So yeah, what I wanted to do is do a little bit of the, kind of the search for items underwater, right? So it would be like the one of those, actually call it trash bin, but maybe it's not um, necessarily what I wanted to call it because, like right now, this one has a few types of it. So for example, this would be one of them that you'd be able to search through. And, these would be something that, the person that was kind of, living on that boat, you know, dropped around the area. So this would be kind of like a search area that you got to go through. And yeah, you got to keep in mind that you only have so much oxygen. So let's start the game from the boat itself. I'm thinking maybe so you don't have to, or actually from the shore over here, so you don't have to like we don't have to like spend too much time swimming all the way. Let me find the Oh yeah, and before that, I forgot. Let me show you the little area that I worked on. So one of them is, I might have shown this a while back. There's just like a little bit of a, since this is more of a like a touristy town a little bit in a way. You'd have like this little beach area, so you'd have like the stairs going down. Um, yeah. So what I did add is, oh man, what is happening with my video card right now? I'm starting to hear it like chirp. I think it's kind of reaching the its end of life. But yeah, so what I wanted to it would be like this area here where I wanted to set up another like access point into the sewers, which would similar to how it is on the other side. It would be like, yeah, oh, this one, I think this one's related to all these shaders that I worked on, and I actually never really got them fully compiled. Not entirely sure how much this is due to streaming as well, but like I said, um, hopefully some of these, it's hopefully it's going to do a refresh of or like a recompile of the shaders once I move to 5.6, but yeah, not entirely sure. Hopefully they did improve and added some fixes and not just, brand new features and like all this kind of stuff, fluff that nobody uses, but they don't address the some of the existing bugs and not necessarily that this is uh, engine related and more of me related. But hey, Imran, welcome. Butchering your name again, but I'm doing good. How are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, so this being like the other sewer exit. So yeah, so these are like the stutters I think related to like the shader compilation that Not all of them have compiled properly, and I'm kind of lost at the moment. Yeah, so like I said, the other one was around here. So what I did just to kind of edge out the town, for example, yeah, you can see like this is one of the issues that I've encountered that I've been fighting with in Unreal as in this 5.5 is these shaders that seems to like fail after like a reload of the engine or some other things like that. So I hope they looked into this. I've heard some other people having this trouble. So I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but again, um, and yeah, so I've added a few of these kind of rows um, with garages like around here. So I think that's, from my understanding is that a lot of the stutter is happening due to like the compilation of the shaders, and you can't really tell if there's like a shader being compiled at the moment or not. So yeah, so again, this is just adding some of these to add some edging to the town, like some of them on this side as well over here. And so those were kind of just empty spaces that I wanted to add something in there. So, these ones around here as well. Yeah, so see exactly like when I look at some of these shaders that are uncompiled or like having some troubles, like for example, this one here. Earlier this week, everything was working fine with these. So I'm not entirely sure. I did update now that I think about it, I did update my video card drivers. So yeah, um, goes to show like, you know, sometimes things don't work like they're supposed to. But yeah, so this is um, one of the issues that I've encountered where like all these are like just black, like it's even though like all the shaders have the assigned textures and everything like that, they turn like this. So um, something that I posted in the past was for either to like save the textures again and it should work, but that seems like a band-aid at the moment. So like I said, I'm not entirely sure what that is about. Um, but yeah, so like I said, added some of these garage rows of garages just to kind of put a little bit more of a border on the town and some of the town areas. Yeah, so let me find where this player start is, and let's see if we can do a little bit of swimming and where to start. Oh yeah, let's start from this. I still need to sculpt the lake itself. It's still like pretty shallow. It's more of a puddle depth, let's call it that way. Okay, so let's start here. I think should be a short swim, I hope. Um, and I'm just gonna quickly do a save. And let's jump into game. And again, with kind of like the player choking, it's still, like that time is like I said, I set it probably a little bit too low. Um, yeah, so let's swim towards the boat. And we should be able to see like this boat swaying a little bit. Yeah, so if you take a look at it, it kind of like moves a little bit back and forth. Like I said, this ivy on the side, I've just added it and I didn't attach it to it, so that's why it doesn't move with it. Yeah, so basically at this point you'd kind of um, you should be able to like climb on top of this unless I have some collisions around here that are not allowing me to climb on this. All right, so once you're on the boat, you should be able to like we've looked in that test level, kind of go around and do your initial search. That's going to be part of that mission. And then once you find, there's going to be a note about him dumping these crates around the lake. So let's actually dive and see if we can search some of these. Oh shoot, I'm kind of like, whoops, I got stuck in something. Oh no. I got stuck in, I think there's like, when I moved this level from my, from that test world into here, I think what had happened, and that's why we were having some of the issues with the collisions. I've moved some of these, you can see these blocking volumes, and that's why I was like having some trouble like getting on top of that pallet to climb on the boat, and also the and that one as well. All right, so let's save this. That should help us a little bit with with whatever we run into there. And I think what I wanted to do is I wanted to switch this over to be a multi-tap for these crates, you know, because you'd have to like kind of just you know uh, if you think of it, pry it open in a way, right? And so that's that. And the second, we've already looked at that. The second one is just going to be a timed interaction. So yeah, let's try this again. Hopefully now we're not gonna run into any kind of collision trouble and get stuck on the water like it just happened. So Imran, how are you doing? How are you? I forgot to ask. How are things? All right, so let's go back into swimming. Yeah, and you can see like whenever you're swimming, you can like kind of look under the water a little bit. Not dive, but all right, so let's go straight into diving here and try and like, locate one of the first boxes. All right, so nothing there, but I got to surface real quick. Whoops. Well, that's interesting. Oh, I'm wondering if I didn't set um, the interaction surface properly. Like the level of, where you submerge, right? I think I did. Let's try this one more time. Because there's also like the way I've set up this water volume, uh, it's not a water volume, right? But this water body, right? Um, it's it kind of takes the level where it's currently at, the mesh itself, to determine, when you are underwater or when you are above water. And that determines, hey, this guy is diving or not. Oh yeah, and you can see some of the stuff missing from here. It's mostly because I've removed some of the meshes that I didn't really like, so I should be able, I'll put those back in place hopefully by next week. So let's try this. Yeah, so see, you can see like the color around you changed, and that's why it's part of um, that post-process volume that is kind of tied to the level of where you swim. And that's why I think I'm running into this issue where I'm trying to submerge, and then when I surface, I'm not properly surfacing. And this is the little issue that I'm having right now, and I'm kind of choking. As you can see, like my health is dropping, and I'm about to die. So I'm just gonna exit from there. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. 'Cause like I said, it's probably due to where this mesh is and where I'm setting the simulation height. Um, so yeah. Um, and one thing also about this water body that I've made here is I'm planning to use it for like also for areas like this where it's not a something that you swim in, but it's more of just like a kind of a bigger puddle in a way. Oh yeah, and I forgot this is like another area that I was working on. This being one of the antenna towers back here on top, where I'm trying to give the player a couple of options to approach it because, like I said, you can't approach it from the front with these military trucks, but I'm trying to give the player the option to approach it from this place here, where you'd be able to lockpick one of the locks and like I said, be able to climb to the top of this and place one of those triangulation devices that I was explaining. But yeah, you'd have to kind of do a little bit of climbing through here, up on these ridges, and yeah, this is like a little bit of a inhabited area, this little shack. And yeah, like I said, this is one of the issues with the shaders. Um, like this particular vehicle, shader fine. This one, not so fine. And this is how things end up looking like. I'm not sure if it's just me or if it's just my old video card. I know that Unreal, I don't think officially supports these old video cards anymore, um, but yeah, you can see like this one turns black. But I mean, as soon as you open it, it, it looks fine, and then it looks fine on here as well. So you can either like reopen it or resave it. That not, unfortunately, it doesn't really guarantee that it's going to work the next time, at least in my experience. So again, it's one of those your mileage will vary. It's not might vary, but will vary. And yeah, now you can see like the truck is starting to like the shader is starting to work, even though not fully just yet. But actually, no, there I got three shaders to this. Yeah. All right. So as I was saying, with this water body, use it for like also for like these like bigger puddles or some of these like this, which is like another area that could be swimmable. Um, it's just another water body, not necessarily any kind of relation to a mission or something like that. But and yeah, let me see. Was there any other update worth mentioning? Um, yeah, a lot of that is just refining some of these areas. So when I'm gonna publish the demo, if people like so decide to start walking around the oh yeah, this is another one just to kind of show the player that some of these roads towards the town are blocked. And yeah, sometimes I've also run into this where this particular shader for the spline, like I need to go into it and um let me see real quick. Splines. And I mean it's fixed if you were to like go in and open the mesh again, which is like to me is just what? Why is it doing that? So there you go. It's it's fine. Um, the last time I built the project, none of these issues happened in the build project, but for whatever reason in the editor is just and yeah, you'll see like these these shaders also like break for whatever reason. So I'm hoping maybe 5.6 there's is gonna fix my issues. Not sure, like I said, if everybody else is having them, but this is my experience. Okay, so from a visual level design standpoint, I think those were the main updates. You might see this new road for like this country road that I'm trying to use, see how that works. Um, yeah, see, interestingly, there's after I kind of flew around the first time, there's no more stutters. Like I said, I think it might be due to these shaders like not fully compiling, but um, and yeah, let me see. Was there anything else? Let me just close some of these tabs here. Um, Yeah, so like I said, also the other thing was, trying to at the start of the game, trying to better direct the player, from, when you fall down into this area, this being one of those hero landing areas, like I wanted to call them. Once you exit, you get a little bit of a few tips on, press control to crouch, press space to jump. And then you really just get into this area here where this guy is being taken hostage. So you can't really walk past it without rescuing him, and then you're going to be able to interact and start the story. And yeah, so outside of this, it would just be kind of, swimming around this big cliff. Sure, go ahead. um, but yeah, and the other thing that I'm going to be placing around here, there's going to be a few more rocks. And one, you've seen that guy kind of patrolling back and forth. So that guy is going to go all the way to here. So you might get noticed that way, kind of just giving you more of an incentive to go, kind of the way that I'm trying to direct the player. Yeah. So let's see. Anything else? I think that those might be all the updates that I had. Yeah, yeah, and so Daniel, that's definitely it. But I have not seen this in a while, and I'm not entirely sure. Um, Thank you so much for the message. I'm not entirely sure because in the past, and you can see it in my previous streams. Right now, this is actually doing a lot better. I've used to have this like 2 gigs or something like that, and I haven't had that problem with the material not properly being compiled. Um, so we'll see what 5.6 brings. Um, and like I said, not sure how that is tied to my video graphics drivers and the age of my video card. But yeah, this is definitely a number that I'm keeping my eye on. And at least at the moment, I've been able to, trim down a lot of um my materials and textures. What I used to have it, and for anybody trying to look at something like that, like this statistics is a really good area to look at. And so all my streaming levels, and that's another thing right now, like literally everything in the world is loaded. Um, so so this is currently at 7.8 gigs. So literally, like I said, everything in my video game project. And again, I'm not fully done with trimming those down, but it used to be at around 13. So after some my initial push, it went down to 7.8, or actually I think even 7. I've added some new things in there, so it kind of bumped it up a little bit. But um, but yeah, so that's kind of also causing this thing. Um, you know, the other thing I've noticed is having a bunch of tabs open also does not contribute. I mean, contributes to this count as well. And and also lumen is another factor in this. So that's a couple of the items that will like bump this number up in my experience. All right. Yeah, so all in all, like I said, these were some of the updates from the past month or so. Like I said, I wish there were more with vacation and all. This is all I got to around doing. But yeah, moving forward. So hopefully now, I'm back. There should be more things happening as well. Hopefully, with work, we've also had a really busy period in this July, and so now it's kind of easing off a little bit. But yeah, so I was thinking, for the rest of the stream, I'll be here for another half an hour or so, just to do a little bit more of this underwater areas, because this is one part that I didn't get around to do too much of the work. Um, I had that planned in my game project plan, if you can call it that. But yeah, I never really got around to it because I wanted to have this set up first, like kind of a way for one to swim, dive, control your not I wouldn't say control your breath, but like uh, do the choking underwater, and yeah. Yeah, Daniel, that's totally it. And yeah, if the video highly great point. If the video card had 12 gigabytes, no problem at all. But my video card has 8, and yeah, I'm not, it's like one of those. I'm probably like exaggerating here, but it's like one of those. If you think of a car, right? You buy it with like 100 horsepower. You know, 10, 20 years from now, that car is not going to have 100 horsepower anymore. There is like the wear and tear on like if you think of a video card, maybe those transistors and everything else, they're probably not firing on all cylinders, so to speak. Kind of analogy in a way. But yeah, mine only has 8, so I got to be mindful about that. Yeah. So let me kind of show you a little bit of what I'm doing for this underwater environment. And to anybody that's interested with it, um, so the you've probably seen in the past that I'm using this IA scatter tool to place things around the world. And in this case, I'm using it to place this blueprint actor that is just spawning some sand like patches just to break up this surface. So like these decals here, and of course these are all controlled by visibility distance. So you can only see so many within a certain distance. But the thing is that it's spawning also this particle effect that is also the same thing. You can only see so many. But so that is for me, that was really helpful to create this, along of course um, this underwater shader for this being a post-process volume. And outside of that, uh, the um, the only thing that I'm doing is just literally paint vegetation, underwater vegetation, which is again not have, besides this, which really looks like a seaweed type of stuff. I don't really have much. It's just like some water plants and some grass, and then some of these logs that allegedly would get washed down into the lake. But yeah, so using things like this to paint a little bit around some of these areas and try to, oops, I did not want to do that, and try to direct the player in a way. Somehow trying to place these around where the kind of the dirt area is, not so much around um, the 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 sand decals. And so along with some of that, also add some of these cliff rocks that I've shown earlier, which is the exact same one, the exact same cliff rock that I use on the terrain. And also paint a little bit of so this would be the seaweed, paint a little bit of these kind of granite meshes around here just to add a little bit more to the ground itself. And also, like I said, some of this little grasses. So again, this is just kind of a small area here that I'm working on, nothing too big. But place some of these grasses around here. This is actually just the landscape itself. So it blends into the actual mesh itself quite all right, I think. But yeah, we can add a little bit more somewhere like this area and this way. Also, one thing that I've created in the past just to keep track of, actually this one should only be placed on landscape. I'm not entirely sure why it's like placed at this weird. I thought it was aligned to normal. Oh yeah, it is. I think I need to like smooth that out a little bit, but let's place some around here. Yeah, so see for some of these slopes, let's actually go into unlit mode so I can like find these a little bit easier. Come on. There we go. Oh yeah, also another thing that that kind of took me away for a little bit from the project was playing Uncharted. It came out like a huge discount on Steam, so I thought, you know what? I've heard a lot of things about this game, and I can't believe that I haven't played it yet. And I was so happy that I did. Um, that like, oh man, this was such a fun game, like the Uncharted 4. And also, so there's like the Legacy of Thieves, and then kind of the follow-up to it. Um, I can't remember it's the name of the follow-up, unfortunately. But yeah. Oh, hey, Daniel, that's an awesome thought. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, so I think that's what I actually have for the streaming pool size as well. I think it might be set to 5 gig. I'll have to check because I know I used to have it set to that, but I'll have to double check and make sure. I know that I might have played around with it and might have set it to 4, but yeah, thank you again. Yeah, so I'm just trying to use the same mesh for a multitude of these areas and locations. It's a pretty versatile mesh, I have to say. So kind of I wouldn't call it necessarily like a canyon, but just like a little bit of an open area in here, like a little bit of a cool dive site. But yeah, speaking of Uncharted, that was definitely like such a fun game. I highly recommend it, especially like um, if you find it on sale. That was, oh my God, that was so much fun. All right, so yeah, there we go. We got a little bit more of an area around here. I'm trying to figure out if I want to make this a little bit like the water itself. a little clearer, or I wanted um, to have it this. I mean, it's definitely not murky. I was actually just swimming yesterday in a pond close to where I live, and this is clear. This is like, I wouldn't say like, ocean in the Caribbean clear, but it's definitely definitely clear. Hey, Pesh Pesh, RVT for better blending the rocks into the. So you know what? I used that before, RVT. Um, I I ended up not using it, and not so much because the added complexity to the shaders. That was maybe 100 instructions, I would say. So there's definitely an added complexity to the shader. I just didn't really get too much out of it, so like you would really have to get up close to really tell. And these actually, I think they blend pretty decently just with the pixel depth. Um, and yeah, um, I just left it at, I kind of left it without, mostly, a lot of times was, um, there is a point where, things just get too busy for one person to do in a video game. And especially the one that's not, full-time working on it. And I kept on running into issues where I would move like the runtime virtual, the RVT volume around, and things would break, and I'm like going in the next day, what's going on? What have I done? And so yeah, I ended up just not using them. But yeah, like I said, I played around with it, so I'm totally aware of the capabilities of it, which they're awesome. I have to say, like I really like the results, but it didn't really, um, they were nice, but um, I didn't feel like, especially for some of the stuff that I have, like they were, man, it's definitely a really game changer for something that is, you really have to inspect every single item really up close. Um, but yeah, all right. So let's try and paint maybe a few rocks. Um, Under here, not entirely sure which one has like the lower density. Yeah, you do definitely run into these issues sometimes with whenever you paint like a flat mesh, so I gotta be a little bit careful with it. So the ground texture is well, actually, so let's see. I can actually show you. It's let me go into here. It's more complex than I thought it would be for like 4 layers. And that's one thing that I don't understand why. Um, yeah. So let's see. Oh yeah, it's preparing the shaders. Yeah, so bear with me for just a little bit, and I'll show you. It's about this color. If you think of it like in the shader complexity kind of color range. Um, so I found it that, I want to have 3 layers to my, yeah, I guess it's more than I thought. It's a little bit lighter than this. So I couldn't figure out a way to get it to be, less complex, with 4 shaders. So I'm not entirely sure if this is common for other folks as well, or if they've seen it. Oh yeah, with 4 layers, you should have it more in like the, dark green than, more towards like the red. So yeah. And I haven't actually gone back. Maybe I should have, to look at the my shader. I've had it for a while now, to see if there's anything I can remove to make it easy, make it less expensive. Yeah, thank you so much for asking. All right, let's see. This is another issue that I've noticed. It in older versions, whenever you sculpt the terrain, the painted vegetation would follow it. In my in my experience here, you'd have to like paint it, or maybe if you reload the level, it would like put this back on where it's supposed to. But yeah, oops, I didn't want to do that. Actually wanted to paint one of these guys. And is it not painting on this surface, if that's what it is? Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, I think these they are set up so they're not painting on, they're only painting on the mulch. Man, where's the one that I can paint it? This is only painted on the mulch and the grass. Oh, bummer. I'll have to add one so I can paint it on the mulch and the grass, or like on this surface for the underwater areas. Rock moss, that's only on the moss. Oh, actually, since this one, I don't have this layer, I can just remove this and see if we can paint this guy. I'm not entirely sure. This is a small rock, so maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger. Let's see. Whoops. Oh, that was too much. I thought it was a small rock. Let's reduce the density. Okay, that's a little bit better. So just adding some of these around here. Um, yeah, let's take a look. So this is kind of how it looks at the moment. Bear with me. Actually, it's kind of hard to tell. Do you have a rock in particular that you're interested in? And by the way, this is a combination of things. Uh, so for example, this rock, this is like a granite cliff from Megascans. And this is just these rocks here. Fortunately, I think that I kind of messed up the texture maybe. Are from a package called the Nordic conifer biome. But they all my textures, I think besides a couple, are 2K and lower. And you know, I don't use nanite. So for example, this is a uh pretty high poly rock, and it's at around, oh yeah, so like I said, it's really high poly because it's a pretty big item. So this is like a, but of course, you know, with LODs, you know, it decreases, you know, drops pretty quickly. But I have, like I said, I have two or three of these really big cliff meshes, you know, so for example, like, you know, things like this in the distance that are making these 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 cliff mountains faces. Um, yeah, so for example, this is also really big mesh, and yeah, it doesn't have as many, but well, actually, oh, and that's a good thing to look at. I don't have LODs on this. I thought I did. Hmm. Might have deleted them. But like as it stands, I think if we start to look at some stats here, I'm running right around. I'm not sure if minimizing. I'm not sure if to the triangles drawn, having open tabs and content browser adds to it, but it's usually around like 13 to 15 million polys. Um, yeah, yeah, and I would love to create my own, but like I said, unfortunately, time is of the essence. Um, and yeah, like I said, from what I can tell, um, usually in the range of, and this is on my video card as well, um, which again tells me that on a, you know, medium level video card, like a 2070, 2080, this would be no problem. But but yeah, like right now, usually on average, this is it. The town is not as optimized. This kind of goes pretty high up. I think maybe doubles. But but yeah, this is kind of like the average. So between, like I said, below this, you'd really have to go like in the low 2 to 3 million polys to see some improvement. Once you get above this, like, in the 20s, that's when I see a drop on mine. But yeah, so let's see, how are things looking around here? Yeah, I think with some of these underwater environments, having um, not that I'm an expert at this or anything, but I think having some of these like um, I think you can still call them canyons, like in the water. Um, I think it's gonna be pretty good because, if you think of, this guy had dropped off some of this contraband into the water, they would like kind of drift towards like where the bottom of this canyon would be. So they'll be kind of around here. This is from like um, a non-experienced diver or water fluid physics expert at all. So yeah, maybe one of them would get stuck because of these kind of logs, so it would get stuck back here, and some of maybe the other ones would drop towards uh, more towards like the bottom of uh, into the ocean. Like one of those Disney movies comes to mind. Like Under the Sea, something like that. I can't remember what it was from from when I was a kid. But yeah. Um, so this actually kind of looks all right, I think. All this, some of these things up close look pretty good. I think once you look in the distance, I'll try and experiment a little bit with the kind of the blur intensity and the, let's call it air quotes, density of the water, um, and see how it works as well. Yeah, and also, Pesh Pesh, one thing to mention is the only thing that's different between these meshes, or like the only thing unique about them are their normal map, so to add the detail, right? Um, hey Juan, bienvenido. Oh my God, I'm confusing languages here. Um, good to see you. Good to see you. Um, how are you? How are you doing? Let me see. Can I translate that? Ya llevas como 7 años de desarrollo. ¿Cuánto te falta? Does that mean like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've been doing good. Yeah, it's been 7 years since you've come around here. I'm not sure if I translated that correctly. Um, but yeah, it's been a while, definitely for sure. And definitely, progress has been made. Moving closer and closer to it. I think it's just a matter of, keeping at it. Um, I'm trying to not definitely not give up on this because, it's a passion of mine, so I wanna see it through. And I'm like I said, I'm really passionate about this project. And yeah, I don't wanna give it up. But like I said, if you could put that in English, like I said, my Spanish um, is not at its best when I have to read it. I think if you were to like verbally say it, I might have understood it a little bit easier. So sorry about that. Hopefully, I actually understood what it said. Excuse me for a minute. I'm back. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate words. Yeah, it's been in. I've been in CryEngine, and I think I moved. I think you're probably right. I moved to Unreal in 2018. So yeah, 7 years, almost 7 years now. Yeah. Um, so it's been a minute. It's been a really good experience. So I'm really happy with things. And yeah, it's the world is, like I said, it's got a decent size to it. Um, for all intents and purposes, like the kind of the playable area, and yeah, just trying to move closer towards it. But yeah, it was CryEngine indeed, CryEngine, yeah. Um, so like I said, just aside from really enjoying doing this, and learning about it, it's actually really, like I said, it's really very enjoyable to do. And having all the items in here, I think that's why it never got boring. Oh, and Alanika, I just saw that. Happy Sunday as well. Sorry about that. Yeah, so like I said, uh it never got boring since, yeah, if you not that I recommend this, right? But if you work by yourself, you get to do a little bit of everything. And while I might not be an expert at, blueprint coding, or at, like level design, or, environmental design, sound design, everything like that, it's very, very enjoyable to dive into each one of those. And I think that's why I never got bored of doing it. And I think if you look at people that enjoy doing their work are usually in small teams. Like once you get into like a big developer, from what I can tell, from speaking with a few friends that are in the industry, they end up doing the exact same thing most of their career. And yeah, in the beginning is going to be, maybe the first few years is going to be exciting, but after that, they were telling me about like the crunch and all that kind of stuff. It's not fun. And this is supposed to be fun. I mean, out of all the jobs out there, you know, uh, games should provide fun. Yeah, this is the way I see it. Maybe it's kind of an ideal or whatever, but this is the way I look at it. So if it doesn't provide fun for both the creator and the player, then is it even worth it? Maybe that's just the way I look at it. Maybe not, it's not shared by others, but that's how I feel about it. So especially with like a long-term project like this, it's um, it's good to keep your interest high, I would say, or maybe find a way to keep your interest high. So my main work is, I work as a software engineer, um, and so I think it was an advantage in a way, because it you know the concepts of things, and you just have to learn like how blueprints work, especially as a I think as a solo developer. Blueprints provide a lot of the um, quick iteration on this, and that really helped me out, you know. But yeah, knowing some concepts was extremely helpful, from my day job, right? So, um, when it comes to like data structures and all that kind of stuff, it was really useful when I got into Unreal and like just your basic software engineering concepts when it comes to doing it, because blueprints are they're an extension, right, of C++. Um, Hopefully I'm looking at it the right way. This is how I see them, and but you still have to apply all these concepts with that. But yeah, so it's a normal, 9 to 5 or later, depending on how busy. Like I said, this past month has been pretty busy, um, and it's taken a bit of energy. But I'm lucky. I'm lucky enough that what I do for my day job is also fun, and it's engaging, and it's also sometimes I I might complain that it's oh, you know what, I don't like being kind of the jack of all trades, because I get people sometimes it's not just about software engineering, but sometimes could be about like system admin type of stuff, and I'm like, but I don't really want to do that. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's just like adds um some variety in the day, so it's just like, game development. It's not always just blueprints, blueprints, blueprints. Sometimes you got to do like some of the stuff that I'm doing right now, which is fun, which I enjoy it. And that kind of, keeps me being happy about my role at my job. Sometimes, it's kind of not everybody has the luck or is lucky enough to say that. Let me put it that way. But this is actually pretty fun, placing these meshes and then kind of sculpting around them, like sculpting this canyon. Oh, thank you, Pesh. Yeah, yeah. So you kind of know the world of this. I work in education, so it's not, and that's why it's probably not as much of a grind. I wouldn't, maybe grind is not the best word, but it's not as much of maybe stressful, let's call it that, as maybe like, big companies that are, for profit. Ours is not for profit, and you know. So especially within my department, it's also a good team, so that um, that matters so much. Like, you wouldn't believe it. I think it's that's I'm very lucky, I would say. Yeah, so let's try and place a few more of these rocks. I'm probably going to replace them with something that is not so, in the forest type of a rock. Because right now this one really looks like it's plopped from the forest and dropped into the water. Like, this one is a little bit more of a, okay, not kind of an underwater type of thing. It's got some shine to it as well. These ones, maybe not so much. Yeah, Atlantica, that's totally it. And I feel like um, because we also have, like, where I work, there's the the way our team is set up. We have like half of us are software engineers and half is analysts, right? So it's while there might be friction at times, which happens, But we always, try to like, work together. That's kind of the idea as well. So it's yeah, it's a good mix, I feel like. All right, let's paint a little bit more of the where was the thing here? That one. Let's paint a little bit of this kind of seaweed around here. I need to do another dive with the player just to kind of compare the um, just from a scale perspective. I need to put that player around here and not just trust that the scale that I've had, like when I was looking around in the world, um, it applies this easy. Let's do some of these water reeds as well. Yeah, so there you go. That's at one point I had to do the same thing, like provide support as well. And it was, now that I'm not doing that anymore, sometimes I kind of miss it, because it was like really fun. Like our department also works with alumni of the college to help them out with certain things. And I used to do that, when I started. And now I'm actually kind of missing it because, it was really fun interacting with them and helping them with, um, some of the hosting that we provide for some of their class sites and all that. So they were like really excited about their volunteering roles. And I was excited about them being excited. So that was fun. But um, but yeah, I don't get to do that as much. All right, let's see how this looks before I choke. Okay, so it's got some depth. I like that. Um, you get to swim quite a bit. I do feel like these are, yeah, I kind of felt like these are a little small. Oh man, oh man. I know I'm choking anyways, but okay. So that was actually pretty good. Like that the scale of that. I'm kind of thinking these are could be a little bit taller. Did this like um these seaweed type of things. So let's try and make him a little bit bigger. So let's do maybe 1.25 to 2.5. Yeah, and I feel the same way because unfortunately, there's a lot of jobs out there that um, there's a lot of, however much you work, people are going to be, ungrateful for what you do. And, on my end as well, they all the departments that we are, our department works a lot with data and providing data to some of the other uh, teams, and um, they are always like very very happy um, with what we do. So that's also kind of a plus, just just having some of that, and because you feel like you have a, in the end you want to, it's good to feel your worth in a way, so if you work somewhere and that place doesn't realize your worth, then you probably you probably shouldn't be there. Or, it's not, I don't think it's good for you. Yeah, I get it. you know, people have to like, have bills, have kids, different situations. So I totally understand, it's sometimes it's difficult. Um, but yeah, see, how does it look at a different time of day underneath this water? Okay, looks all right. I mean, if I was to set like a different time of day. Oh yeah, so what I wanted to do is to also, so in some of these pockets of, not pockets, but I'm still gonna call them canyons, to spawn some of this stuff out here. And what I'm gonna try and do, I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna be, how this is gonna work. So whenever I do the placement, where is it? Rotation, scale. Trying to see if I can like align it to, there was an option to align it to normal, but the rotation, align to normal. There we go. All right, so it might be a little bit easier. Yeah, so just these, for whatever reason, when I was playing around with this, um, just for the bubbles themselves, just adding these, it adds so much to the environment. And yeah, and I just started playing a little bit with Niagara, and I was very, I think this is a word, reticent, like very, I was kind of holding back on like playing with Niagara, but I realized that it's so much easier to understand than regular particle effects. So the first thing I've created with it, and also I forgot to, there was like a little bit of a smaller area that I forgot to show. So maybe I can show that as well here. It's somewhere around town. Yeah, so see these stutters, I think these are like, what people have been complaining, and it is probably due to like these shaders being improperly compiled. You can see like a lot of them are out there. Oh man, so I haven't had these stutters in like forever. Not sure why it's starting now. It's kind of frustrating. But yeah, some of the stuff that I was playing around with is also like this little back alley here. Um, and one thing that I wanted to share is, it might be trivial, but it's this cigarette smoke. As trivial as this sounds, just this little Niagara effect. I was like so excited to get that done. Um, so yeah, I've learned to really enjoy Niagara because it is really powerful, and it's actually a lot easier to understand to me than the particle effects. So Atlantica, did you work on the swimming mode during the session? There's not a lot of things to work on it anymore. I was just showing it off. Um, but um, but yeah, if you have any questions, just DM me, and we can chat. I can give you a little bit more insight. Um, all right, so I think this is a pretty good kind of prototype of, underground areas around this lake, you know, and kind of you going around and being able to check these crates. Um, it's actually pretty good. So once you dive here, this is going to be a search area, so you'll be able to hear like a little bit of a faint beep where when you're into the search area to you need to look for some of the stuff in here. Yeah, that's the main thing that I noticed about it. It's really cheap on performance. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to move these bubbles into a Niagara effect. They're not very costly, which is kind of a good thing, but I'm kind of interested to see if it's possible to move them into Niagara. So we'll see. Yeah. Okay, so guys, I think with that said, I'm probably going to end it here. Um, it's a pretty nice day out, so it's always good to go out for a little bit, and at least while we still have them, because September is going to come around and the rains are going to start, and we're not going to be able to go outside here in the Northeast. But yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Hopefully it was something interesting to watch, and also just wanted to give you some of this update from these past several weeks now, almost a month and a half. But yeah, now that I'm back, definitely definitely gonna try and do just again, with the weekly streams, just giving every week more updates to via these live sessions. And I'm gonna try and actually um, just record a video without just being a live stream, just so that it's easier to find in like the main videos. uh, I think that might be easier for people to see than, having to go into the live section and find it that way. I'm not sure if, nowadays you don't really know what the YouTube algorithm likes anymore. So, but yeah, until next week, guys, have a great week, Atlantica. You too as well, Pesh Pesh, everybody else, Oy and Van, everybody else. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see you next week. All right, have a great week coming up, guys. Take care. Bye.